Good afternoon, Joe Biondo with Inbound Logistics. We're here at MODEX 2026. Right now we're talking with Ryan Adkins, Logistics Automation Sales Director, and Phillip Haritos, Mobility Product Manager for Datalogic. Phillip, Ryan, how are we today?
Good, thank you.
Doing great. Welcome. So guys, I wanted to ask a couple quick questions. Ryan, what is the single biggest pain point your customers are bringing to you this year compared to 2 years ago?
Great question. Right now we're seeing a difference of us being a barcode company to customers asking for what more can you do. So bigger, deeper data analytics, more emphasis on looking at cartons, packages, to telling whether there's defects. So we went from barcode to camera-based to now we're detecting what's wrong with your package. Is it side by side? Are they next to each other? So there's been a lot of change from typical barcode reading to deep learning using camera technologies, almost acting as an inspection tool to the packages.
Right, so looking around the MODEX floor today, I know it's early in the show, what is the one thing you're seeing that would have been unthinkable 5 years ago?
Well, of course, I hate to say AI technology, but the truth is we're seeing it even in what we do. Again, it's more deep learning. So what we've addressed over the past couple of years is tools, different software tools that allow you to look deeper at the packages and what's wrong with it. So everyone could say, I didn't read a barcode, not a big deal, but can you tell me why I can't read a barcode? So they can go back into their application and their process to determine what do we need to fix to make sure our throughput stays consistent.
And Phillip, so with technology in mind, what is the biggest mistake you see companies making when they start out on this digital transformation journey?
I would say it's a great question. One of the mistakes we see, right, we're all used to using smartphones and iPhones and Android devices in our daily life, but sometimes in this more harsh environment, they think, well, let's go to an all-touch environment in a warehouse, a manufacturing environment, a distribution environment, right? And there's real limitations with that, right? You need something where there's physical keys, something that can operate with gloves, more tactile response, right? More harsh environments, indoor, outdoor environments, yard management, right? Inclement weather conditions, right? So that's why, and we'll talk about it, we've introduced a next generation of our keyboard-based PDT products, right, to fit that unique market need.
So Ryan, we're standing by this working conveyor featuring the Matrix 830 and 930. You're claiming a world first 28 megapixel resolution here. How does having that much visual power allow a single camera to do the work that used to require a whole array of scanners?
Sure. So there's many things with that. So the more megapixel, the higher resolution barcode that you can read, or the wider coverage you can cover with a single barcode reader. So by having 28 megapixels, we're able to cover about a 40-inch wide conveyor, traditional to our old laser scanners, the same coverage. The other thing is the intrinsic depth of field. So with a depth of field, we need more light, so we also have more light put down on the substrate. So we're getting a significant depth of field, so we're able to cover almost everything with a single camera. And going back to where I say deep learning tools, now that people are using cameras, well, we can, with a larger field of view and a depth of field, we're able to get larger coverage and a single image, so they can go and take that image and study it rather than stitching 4 or 5 camera pictures together to actually see what that image or what that package looks like. So one camera, one image, and you have all the analytics and you have all of the image in one single image, not stitching it all together.
And Ryan, we're seeing a return to the iconic Falcon and Scorpio brands. Why was the time right to bring these powerhouses back to the warehouse floor?
Let me hand that over to you. You might be better suited.
So sure, and we actually have those on the pod behind us, right? So there's different use cases for the two different products, right? One is more of a lighter weight use case where it's less rugged, lower rack heights, that sort of thing. And then more importantly, we brought the Falcon back, right? So more rugged, 8 to 10 foot areas where you're dropping, more repeated drops, larger buttons, larger displays, more capabilities, right? Like I'd mentioned in the previous question, right? Having that ability to have various keyboard options for the different warehouse management systems, a lot of repetitive numerical entry for inventory operations. That you cannot beat the speed and efficiency from having a physical keyboard on a gun-shaped terminal compared to a traditional all-touch handheld like PDA type device.
Phillip, the Scorpio X40 and X45 are designed for high frequency scanning. For the workers who are doing thousands of scans a day, what specific ergonomic features did you make to help reduce scanner fatigue and keep their productivity high?
That's a great question, right? So when you look at a device like this, it's a gun-shaped terminal, right? When I'm scanning thousands of devices, I definitely want to use a gun versus holding and hitting a button. It takes more action, takes more time. Also, by the shape of the handle, the weight of the device, the distance and the length of the trigger button itself, it's designed to basically reduce user fatigue to allow to scan more items at a longer period of time for a longer use case and a longer shift, right? Again, very rugged device, very durable device, and again, as I'd mentioned in the previous question, why you want to have those in combination with that keyboard entry as I'm scanning 20, scanning 50, scanning 30, right? I can quickly enter that information and be as efficient as possible without being fatigued in the process.
Yeah, I think that's a valid point, right? It's not just the efficiency, it's the fatigue
right.
Together. Phillip, so Datalogic is famous for the green spot, that visual confirmation of a good read.
Right.
In a loud, fast-moving MODEX environment, can you show us why that simple visual cue is still as good as gold?
Oh yes, most definitely, right? Because a lot of times when you're doing cycle counts, when you're doing inventory bin locations, right, you want to scan as fast as possible. And if you have to sit there and look at the screen and you can't hear a beep, right, because warehouse manufacturing environments, they're very loud, some OSHA requirements, like exactly, and they'll even be wearing hearing protection, right, or some sort of headset, right? So I need some sort of visual confirmation. So as if I was scanning, right, and I had a barcode here in front of me, every time I would scan, I would see that green spot, so I'd have that visual confirmation. So if I'm just validating my stock levels, my locations, I can just scan as fast as I can scan, and I'll see that confirmation of that green spot on the packages, on the parcels, or on the products in my warehouse and distribution center, and I can, again, process thousands of items per day, per shift, more efficiently than if I had to look down or listen for a beep that I can't hear.